Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Jaquan,
I'm Jasmine.
and welcome to the
Film
Film
Spill.
Spill.
So, today, guys, we're going to be reviewing Snowfall. This is a drama series, and here is the summary. This series follows the lives of an African American crime family led by budding drug dealer Franklin Saint as they navigate ways to make money selling crack cocaine during the 1980s crack epidemic in South Central Los Angeles.
All right, so when this series was first created, most of us who know about, LA and its drug culture, we automatically thought it was about, Freeway Ricky Ross, the real Rick Ross, not the Rick Ross, the rapper that we see, the real Freeway Rick Ross. If you don't know about him, definitely look him up. But come to find out, John Singleton said this was like loosely based on, just the LA crack epidemic, which he was one of the people who funded, and I guess it wasn't originally just based off of his story, but it definitely has some similarities, so that was just really dope. The rating I'm gonna give this show is gonna be a 4. Let's get into my pros and my cons. So very first pro, I think Damson Idris does an amazing job as Franklin. You know how we talk about how certain actors are just remembered for specific roles, like you was born for this role. I definitely think Damson Idris was definitely the perfect choice for Franklin. I really like Oso's character. I like how they brung in the wrestling element. Me growing up watching wrestling. I really love Jerome's character. I feel like Jerome's character to me is like the most standout character in this entire show, other than Franklin. Just how he talked, how he was gritty, how he was get money. He didn't play, teach a man how to squabble. Like he just had that whole thing. Javi character was somebody who was real reliable. You know how we talked about always having somebody on speed dial that can get you what you need. Javi had those weapons. So if you needed some illegal weapons, Javi definitely had them for you. Franklin was a really great visionary. I feel like none of this show happens without Franklin. Like none of this show happens without Franklin. He was the person who basically put everybody on. He was the person that made people rich, not only helping out Teddy and the government, but also his people and getting them on. None of them knew about, Jerome and them didn't want to mess with cocaine and stuff. Franklin brought it into the family. Franklin was the one who got the crack recipe. So I just think without Franklin, none of this stuff happens. He was definitely a dope visionary. When Franklin and Jerome made Ray kill Lenny, that was crazy. Teddy killing Alejandro, finding out Lorena was with the DEA was wild. I really like Aunt Louie character in the beginning. I think in the beginning season, she definitely was a ride or die, but I think she ended up kind of getting, starting to bite off more than she can chew, going against the family low key. It was crazy when we thought Oso died. The Colombians forcing Matt to do coke every hour is just crazy. That's just a different type of torture. Just keep doing this coke. It's like I can't even get up and rest. I gotta keep doing coke. That's just wild. Man Boy character was dope as well. I think he was definitely a great villain or a great asset to the series. Oso shooting Lorena. Alton becoming sober was definitely a great turning point, as well as Wanda becoming sober, which we're going to talk about. Oso throwing Herman's white father out the window was crazy. Franklin killed Andre. Also, just like Jerome, Franklin definitely had some memorable lines. One of my favorite basically be when he's sitting in the car with Leon and he's basically telling him like, I built this brick by brick. Like when he does that line, or when he's like, you're gonna get mad at the way another nigga talk. Like that whole entire line was just dope. It was crazy when Melody shot Franklin, even though I understand why. Franklin with the cane went hard, low key. I can't cap. I like how they explored the Black Panthers' history. Teddy and Oso killing the corrupt cops and the chief. Veronique was a good girl to Franklin. Franklin threatening Melly, so he flew all the way back to, where she was living at in Texas after she shot him, and he basically threatened her. When Oso and Franklin are tranquilized and thrown in a cage with a tiger, but then Oso kicking the cage and making the tiger eat the man who held them in captivity. And then Franklin setting up the man who had him and Oso tied up, and he got them eaten by the tiger. Scully lacing the chocolate at Louis and Jerome wedding with LSD. Jerome smacking Franklin. Kane and Dion's war was crazy. Franklin kicking all the men out the coke house and showing them how to do it. Franklin killing Teddy's father. Lou getting tortured by Kane. Ruben killing the DEA agent to save Oso. Franklin killing Pete. And Teddy dying. Let's just say that. Not how he died, but Teddy dying. I just feel like he had to go. But how he went was just messed up. Cons, I did not like Teddy at all. So anything that Teddy did, I just didn't like. I'm not going to name everything. He did a lot of bogus stuff in this series. I did not like it at all. Especially at the end, him, taking Franklin's money, of course. Sissy was the biggest op in the show. Other than Teddy, Sissy basically messed up the entire series for me. Leon still wanted to be with Wanda, even though she was a crackhead. Crazy. The police choking Franklin. Franklin's dad was a drunk. Teddy killing Franklin's dad, Alton. It was crazy when Calvi raped Lenny. Pedro folding and telling Ramirez. Alejandro was definitely loose cannon. When Teddy hit Franklin with his car, Andre was definitely a op. You know, he just kept trying to mess with Franklin. It's like, bro, Ray Ray and his crew beating up Franklin in jail. Alton trying to be a dad to Franklin while he was behind bars. Definitely set him off. Teddy and Julia eating pig brains and then drinking hallucinogens and then throwing up and then sleeping with each other. Melody becoming a crackhead was crazy. Scully was definitely crazy. Teddy refused to leave the business behind and he left his wife. Leon killing Scully's daughter. Franklin killing Rob. Manboy dying. When Alton went to the press, Teddy killing Irene. Parisha playing with herself after patching up Teddy was definitely sick. Louis and Jerome and Franklin falling out towards the end. That was kind of crazy because they started this thing together. You know, Franklin brought them in. To see them kind of fall at the end was kind of crazy. Javi dying was sad. Diamond dying was sad. Also saving Franklin from being hung. Jerome and Kane killing each other. That was sad when Jerome died. Franklin messed up the moment he let his mom come in while he was torturing Teddy. Sissy, these are the two biggest cons. Sissy killing Teddy. The moment she killed Teddy, it messed up everything for Franklin. She could have easily waited until the money was transferred and then killed him. And like, I don't understand. Like, you could have easily did that. She just chose, she was just going off emotions and she just messed up her son's entire life. And then the biggest con that I feel like is in this show, other than Sissy killing Teddy, is how the show did Franklin at the end. It was just so disgusting to me. This dude went through everything, season 1 to season 6. He got so many people rich. He made so much money for the government. He helped people get out, you know, even with what's his name? Oh, even Leon. So he helped Leon. Like, he done all these things for these people and they were up. And this dude was left with nothing. That's just it. It just really just rubbed me the wrong way. And I understand life can happen that way because he could have been in jail. He could have died. But it's like, dang, man, like, he did all this. Like, at least give him something. He said he got out with his life and he was like, I'm free. Like, I'm free. But it's like, you know that's messed up. Other than that, definitely a really, really great series. I give it a 4.
Okay, guys, I also give this series a 4 out of 5. We have watched a lot of drug shows, but this definitely was a really good one. So I'm just going to talk about a few of the characters. So starting off with Veronique, I mean, she wasn't around for very long. I think she really did love Franklin, but she was a con artist first. And once things got shaky, her and her mom and the baby were gone. Sissy, who's Franklin's mom, like he was talking about, she got on my nerves a lot throughout this series, but she was one of the few people that Franklin listened to and trusted the deeper he got into the business, which kind of came to bite him because I didn't like when she made that deal to spy on him. I didn't like that at all. And then, like you said, we were all mad when she killed Teddy after Franklin made the deal with the CIA to hand him back over. Like, he was so close. Like, oh my goodness. Aunt Louie.
Not wanting to talk to him. It's like, you're not going to talk to me. Just sit here, look at me. It's pretty like, what?
I know.
This lady, man.
Aunt Louie, I liked seeing her and Jerome's love for each other, but I didn't like you said, how in the later seasons she got like kind of power hungry to the point where she went behind Franklin's back to do business directly with Teddy. And then in the end, she becomes LA's biggest cocaine dealer. Jerome was a father figure to Franklin. He was a drug dealer who used his money to help his community. He seemed like a decent person, but he did not play about Louie. Of course, he loved that woman so much. And eventually, when he wanted out of the cocaine business, it was sad because unfortunately he ended up dying rescuing Louie from a gang when she was kidnapped. Teddy, CIA agent, his whole objective was to keep his whole operation going. He was willing to screw over anyone if it kept him in power. He crossed so many people that by the final season, pretty much almost everyone wanted him dead, and he ended up getting killed by Sissy. He was one of those characters, like snake-like characters, who would just like get into crazy situations, and I don't know how he always was like wiggle his way out of them. But I did not like his character. Last but not least, of course, Franklin. Early on, he was a naive, young, innocent, but ambitious up-and-coming drug dealer. Over the course of the series, he becomes hardened, ruthless, cold-blooded, and a powerful drug kingpin. He understandably wanted to make a better life for himself, but the lengths he was willing to go to get rich and to gain that respect was really horrible. The saddest part was that he ended the series as a paranoid alcoholic. similarly to his dad at the start of the series.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him because he went through so much to become a kingpin. He was a millionaire. He had the world in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
Just for him to end up living in his mom's old condemned house, a homeless, washed up drunk. The scene when he was talking to Leon saying the CIA was still watching him, even though he had lost everything, it was no longer a threat to anyone, was really sad because he just thought he was bigger than he was. Like, nobody was checking for this dude. But in the end, he lost sight of what was really important. He got cocky, he got greedy, and it just all crumbled. So, like you said, I felt so bad for him in the end. Like, he just went through all of that. But the drug business is not something, like most
really
people
escape.
go to jail. Yeah, a lot of people don't escape. Like you said, you either end up in jail or dead. But for his point, it kind of was horrible because he was alive, but it's like, oh, everything just crumbled. But this was a really good series. I give it a 4.
Yeah. Just like always, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. You guys have a good one.